Hey everybody, it's Thursday, and you know what that means? That means I'm on Twitter, so if you asked your questions using the hashtag KatieFAQ, I have searched, and Twitter makes it so easy to search, even in my messages. I can search for the hashtags. So, I found your questions, and I'm going to answer them, and I have a journal topic. And a lot of you sent me some other journal topics, so I've copied and pasted and saved those for future days, so thank you very much, because you guys have such great quotes and insight, and I love it, so keep it coming. Okay. So, without further ado, the first question says, I feel a doctor with all of my issues will brush me off or take me too seriously. What should I do? Okay, so I know many of you, and I get a lot of questions around, like, I'm scared to talk to a doctor. What is that like? What if I forget to say something? Are they going to judge me? What's going to happen? Right? Sometimes our mind goes crazy with things and we worry, and we don't really need to worry. So, what does it look like when we see a doctor and we tell them about our issues? Because for many of you, especially even in the States, it can be a nice way to get a referral. But I know that in the UK and other parts of the world, many of you have told me you have to get a referral through your GP or your regular primary care doctor. So I would make a list of a couple things you want to tell them. Let's not get into the nitty gritty. This isn't your therapist, this is your doctor. So we need to just tell them, I've been struggling with an eating disorder, or I've been struggling with anxiety or depression or, self-harm, and I just really need a referral to see someone. Because that's really all that we need from them. And they won't brush us off or take it too seriously if we just keep it very succinct. So I would make a list and I would practice how you want to verbalize it. I know I said that a lot for things, but you'd be surprised how much practicing verbalizing things can make us feel calmer in the moment, because we're like, you know what, I've already said this a gazillion times to myself in the mirror and I know what I'm going to say. So I would just keep it as simple as possible. If they ask more questions, that's on them, and that means they need more information. And at that point, then you can just answer their questions. So you may even want to anticipate the questions, like, I've been struggling with an eating disorder. Well, do you binge or purge, or do you restrict? I would just say what you do. I binge or I purge or whatever. Just that. Oop, don't give them any more information. I would just give them the information they need to make a proper referral, okay? And if any of you have experience with this, can you let us know below so that some of us might be anxious, can feel a little relief knowing that it's okay and it's not as scary as we think, okay? Question number 2, is it possible to have an eating disorder voice without an eating disorder? Good question. Or is it more likely that you truly have an eating disorder and you just don't realize it / accept it? Now, the obvious quick answer, like when I read this, I was like, of course you have an eating disorder, because no one, and this is honest to God truth, no one who doesn't have an eating disorder has a voice in their head telling them, so you need to stop eating, or wait, let's stop and get extra 5 burgers from this place. We don't have that voice. It doesn't exist to us. In our head, we're like, I'm kind of hungry. What do I feel like eating? Oh, roast beef does sound good, but maybe we don't have a voice that tells us anything. It's all about what we crave, what we want. Are we hungry? Are we full? There's no emotion attached to our food. There's no value attached to how much exercise we've done or when we've done it or how much we've eaten. There's no anything. It's just what your body asks for and what you give it. And then that's it. Ooh. So if you have a voice in your head that's telling you to not eat, to exercise, to whatever, chances are you struggle with eating disorder, and I would encourage you to find help and reach out to a therapist in your area so you can begin working on it, okay? And I have a free eating disorder workbook on my website, katiemorton.com, so check that out too. Okay, question number 3. What do you do when your parents think you're recovered from self-harm because you're in therapy, but you're really worse off than when they first found out? Now I thought this was a great question, first of all, because many of you I know struggle with how to talk to parents about it, how to deal with it, how to tell loved ones in general, even if we're older, right? We can struggle with this when we're older, and then we have a husband or a wife or a person we're in a relationship with, and how do we even, talk about it anymore after we've already talked about it? I personally think it depends on your relationship with that person, with your loved one. If you feel it's important for them to know where you're at and they check in with you and you communicate, and you find yourself lying, I would practice again. I would write it down. I'd practice how to tell them what's actually going on, because that means they really care and they really want to know, because they want to help you. So I would encourage you to practice telling them, you know what, I'm really struggling right now and I'm just having a hard time, and these are ways you can help me. That's usually the best way to talk about that. But if Let's see, if they think you're recovered, if they don't have a good relationship and you don't communicate with them regularly, is it really the worst if they don't know you're struggling right now? Probably not. But I would encourage you to tell your therapist, be honest. If anything, please be honest with your therapist. I know it's hard, but we have a very different relationship, right? Our relationship with you isn't based on you doing great and having no problems and recovery just being easy. You're cruising along. That's not what our relationship is based on. Our relationship is based on communication and working through the things that we can't with other people and talking about the things we can't talk about with other people and doing all of that. So I would encourage you, please, if you're struggling more than you were before, tell your therapist and maybe see them more frequently than before, or maybe look into treatment options, okay? And DBT therapy is a great option for those of us who self-harm as well, okay? Journal topic. And I saw this at the NAMI walk, and I love it, and someone mentioned it, and I was like, this is amazing. And it says, when I is replaced by we, and illness becomes wellness. Sorry, I really butchered that. When I is replaced by we, illness becomes wellness. That's what we're doing here, right? We're creating a community. We're breaking through the stigma. When we work on things, we can turn it around, right? We can turn illness into wellness. So let me know how you're sharing this information. Are you putting out videos on your YouTube channel about mental health? Are you spreading and sharing? Because right below here, you can click the share and you can share that link on your Facebook, on your Twitter. How are we spreading the word? Because we can turn illness into wellness. So let me know how you're doing it and then do it, okay? So I will see you tomorrow because it's finally Friday and I'll be on Facebook. So ask your questions there. I'll see you then. Bye.